everyone. I'm Kylie Montigney, the host of Talkoffame podcast, and this episode has been, in the works for a while. And I'm basically the type of person that honestly loves to learn about nutrition and hormones and how that works. So I'm super happy to learn about it from today's guests and learn more about those two topics. So today we have Vicky Rolfe. She is a certified nutrition and hormone specialist. She helps professional women and business owners understand how to eat and balance their hormones before menopause that start to get their energy up and feel confident and comfortable in their bodies. She has been featured on television, radio, podcasts, health summits, and hosts of multiple workshops. And she's an author of cookbook, What to Eat, What You Don't Feel Like Cooking, where she shares simple, dairy-free, refined, sugar-free recipes to maximize one's health despite being busy. Vicky is doing, so many things in terms of nutrition and hormones. And to be honest, I'm currently, struggling to eat balance my hormones. So I have so many questions to ask you, Vicky. But thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Yes, of course. I'm really happy to be here.
Thank you so much. So I know with nutrition and menopause, they kind of align together so much. But in case people know what menopause is, but what they don't know exactly what it really does to us. But in your kind of own definition, what is menopause and how does it impact us?
So I'm glad you're asking that question because there's so many confusion about menopause, like around menopause, right? So menopause is a natural phase that happen in every woman's life. Somebody who is born with feminine organ, they will go through menopause. But menopause have three different phases. You have the perimenopause, also known as premenopause. You have the menopause phase and the post-menopause. And in the perimenopause phase, usually it starts in around the 40s. However, it can start as early as 10, 15 years prior to your last period, which means that even if normally it starts in the 40s, you can start experiencing symptoms in your late 20s or 30s. So it's important to keep that in mind, right? And what happens in perimenopause is that hormones like estrogen and progesterone are starting to stop producing as much as they were before. So you start experiencing all kinds of symptoms, like weight gain is one of the big one that women experience. You have mood swing, hair loss, you have irregular period, etc. There's a list of symptoms that can happen. And then eventually your periods stop. And when your periods stop for 12 months, you enter the phase of menopause, okay? And after the phase of menopause, that means that month 13, that you don't have your period, you enter the phase of post-menopause, where the estrogen and progesterone are stabilized, they're very low, and you don't have any more symptoms, and you continue for the rest of your life. So the phase that a lot of women are in and they don't know what to do and why their bodies are changing is mostly the premenopause phase that has the most symptoms, because your hormones are going up and down, up and down. It's like a roller coaster until they stabilize.
Ooh, that's a very long process. I didn't even know that was kind of like the process, but I'm kind of curious, as a person that deals with hormone problems for the last couple of months, do menopause happen in teenagers, or does it really just happen in all adults, basically?
It doesn't happen in teenage years. However, you can have hormonal imbalance that are linked to other things than menopause, right? Hormone is not just linked to menopause or perimenopause. It can be linked to other things in your life, your lifestyle, or the way you eat, your diet, etc. That makes a shift in your hormone, and your hormones become imbalanced.
That's so interesting. I never like thought that would, happen because of course with me being, we're having hormone problems for the last couple of months. I'm the type of person, I'm not sure if it was for you as well, but I'm the type of person that loves to mix up my foods and eat always, eat junk food. Well, now last like month and a half, I realized that I'm the type of person that will often feel like, okay, I need sugar or I need like
Right.
those things that are basically causing my body to have those hormone balance. But real like I'm kind of curious, like does junk food really cause hormone imbalance or what kind of really causes it?
There are a lot of things. First of all, as soon as you have your period, every month you have an hormonal imbalance because your hormones are going up and down in your cycle, right? So that's first. The food, yes, the food has an impact on your hormones. Um, the more processed food you eat, the more you can have hormone imbalance, and also the toxicity. We hear a lot about toxins in the food and where it's coming from. So, for example, the example of the BPA in plastic. So, if you have a tendency to put your food in plastic container, it liberates some toxin. And a lot of people argue that most of the plastic nowadays, they don't have the BPA in it, which is the major toxin. However, plastic in and of itself has a lot of toxins in it. So even if it says no BPA on your plastic container, keep in mind that there are other toxin in the plastic that over time, right? It's not something that if you do it once, you will have hormonal imbalance. It will cause hormonal imbalance, but over time, your body absorb those toxin and that disrupts your hormone.
Ooh, like I know, like with my experience, my sister always advocates with very toxic like things that she uses because of course because my sister has autoimmune disease. So basically, she has is very the best word for it's picky is the best word for it in terms of where she puts her food, what she eats, what she wears. Like she's always very picky, but I'm always and she always convinces me to do those things. But as I grow older, I'm just like, what the heck are you doing? This is just like crazy. But like with especially a weight gain for me personally, I've always had struggle growing weight and getting like gaining weight growing up from family history. But like does eating have little to do with your weight gain? Like what does as I kind of am saying, like what does eating cause you to gain weight, or does it have like little to do with it?
So it's a twofold in the sense that, yes, what you're putting in your mouth impacts your weight gain. Absolutely. However, most of the time we stop there. We think about the food, we change the food, and then in some cases, a lot of them, there's no difference. And we wonder why I changed the way that I eat and why there's no difference or I plateaued, because you have to keep in mind that food is the tip of the iceberg. Let me put it this way.
Mhm.
The tip of the iceberg, that's the food, but everything that you don't see that is under the water, then that has even more impact on your weight, right? And the thing that are under the water are your lifestyle, and also your physical, your mental state of mind, your environment has a lot of impact on your weight as well. And that constitutes most of the parts. So I always say to my clients, even if I give you the best food and the best diet, if you do not address your stress, if you do not address your mental state, if you do not address how you feel in your body, your lifestyle, your stressors, basically, it won't work because your body will not absorb the nutrient in the food properly. So it won't have the effect on your body that you want.
Ooh, I never knew that. Like with me personally, I always, struggled eating. Like I'm a very picky eater. Like I always have to eat these certain foods day by day. I don't know why, I've always been a very picky eater growing up, but it's still to this day. But with me growing up, and so to this day, I barely eat. Sometimes I'm never hungry, but when I'm hungry, I'm never full. I'm never capable of being full. But so like I mostly, even though sometimes I eat so many foods, it never grows into a weight that I'm hoping to be. Which I'm sure you hear about that with your clients as well, is that even if you eat so many foods, 3 meals a day, including snacks or whatever, it really doesn't grow into that body weight that you're hoping to be. So of course, with food, it doesn't give you all the weight, of course. Because of course, with stress, I'm the type of person that loves to stress about different things 24/7. So basically, with me, I'm just like stress really always takes over me, no matter if I'm hungry or not hungry. And sometimes I get so much anxiety about eating that I'm always hungry. And with me, even if I'm eating carbs or protein, those sort of things in nutrition in your food, it really always, brings so much stress into like, okay, why I should stay up because I'm gonna be hungry in about 5 minutes, sort of.
Right. And the stress is very, very detrimental, is the number one hormone disruptor. Okay. And we need to understand what happens when your body is stressed. So what happened is that the hormone cortisol is released in your body.
Mhm.
And cortisol's role is to help you manage the stress. Okay. So that's a good thing. However, the way that it does that may impact the result. So, for example, the cortisol shuts down your digestive system, it shuts down your reproductive system, it elevates your blood sugar so you can have energy, and it stores the food that you eat, it stores it in your body as fat.
Mhm.
To make sure that you have some reserve in case you don't eat, in case you run out of food. Think of it this way. When it was COVID, everybody ran to the store and bought
Mhm.
toilet paper.
Yeah.
I no idea. But toilet paper was the thing, right? People were fighting for it, etc. So they wanted to make sure that if the world ends, they will have toilet paper. Okay.
Yeah,
Your
toilet
body
paper
does
over food is what I'm confused about, to
right.
be quite honest with you.
Right. Your body does the same thing with the food when you are stressed, because your body thinks that you're going to run out of food because of the stress, right? Because of you're not going to eat as much. So everything that you eat when you're stressed is stored as fat in your body. And 4 times more receptors, cortisol receptors, are in your belly area. That means that the fat is stored in your belly area.
Ooh, like as you mentioned cortisol, like it's like with cortisol is one of the main hormone, things in your body, especially women deal with a lot of cortisol things, especially with hormones. And I'm kind of curious, as a person that is dealing with big blood sugar up and down and low cortisol levels at the moment, what I want to ask you, like, what causes low cortisol levels? Like, do you know by any chance? Or
What causes low cortisol level? Actually, cortisol is not linear. So when you wake up in the morning, your cortisol level is supposed to be at the highest
Mhm,
to give you a boost of energy for you to start your day.
mhm.
And at night is supposed to be the lowest, so you can fall asleep thanks to the other hormone called melatonin.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So, and during the day, depending on your stress, your cortisol level will vary, but still be stable, if I can say it this way. Okay. When you have high cortisol or low cortisol, there's a hormonal imbalance. There's a
Mhm.
dysregulation there. right? It can be caused by many things. I cannot name you all the things, but most of the time, what we see is high cortisol level because of stress.
Ooh, I literally learned more about cortisol levels in the last 5 minutes than I did over the last couple of months with me going to doctors every single day. Like I never knew those things. Of course, I knew that cortisol was in how in like hormones, but I never knew that it's usually high in the morning but low at night. I never knew there was so imbalance because of course, cortisol always, helps you live every single day. And depending on, oh, I have a lot of energy, I have low energy, it helps you during those moments of the month where you like have all your hormones all crazy up and down, like you said. Like it's very much in a day with hormone imbalance. But to turn the subject a little bit, like how did the power of nutrition kind of help you after your mother got diagnosed with dementia?
So my mom got diagnosed with dementia, and I dived into nutrition because I knew that food was powerful, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I started studying nutrition to save her. That's really how I started on this journey of nutrition, hormone, etc. And throughout that journey, I also was dealing with my own issues. I was overweight when I was a kid. I started dieting from the age of 10, and I never been able to lose the weight and maintain the weight that I
Mm-hmm.
wanted. So when I started diving into nutrition, I realized this is really powerful. Once you understand the impact of food, once you understand how to eat for your body, because everybody is different.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody is, I cannot prescribe you one thing and prescribe the other thing to the same thing to the other person. Everybody's unique. And so with nutrition, I was able to lose all the extra weight that I had and never gain it back, and understand that I don't need to starve myself to get to that point. I just need to understand what nutrient my body needs. And I was also able to extend the life of my mom and reduce the symptoms of dementia of my mom.
Ooh, was it like with helping reduce the dementia? Like, was it all the food that you gave her, or was it like how did that work? Like, was it kind of all nutrition, food based that helped her?
Yes. So nutrition was a big part of it when it comes to dementia, because your brain needs to be fed properly.
Mhm.
And in the hospital, the food that they were providing for my mom was not nutrient rich. It was
Mhm.
not good for her body. So I remember I was cooking food and then bringing it to the hospital to my mom to make sure that she was eating properly, right?
Mhm.
To slow down the development of the disease. But it's also when I talked about the iceberg at the beginning, it's also, the environment. We were making sure that there was always someone coming to visit her every single day, spending time with her, make her laugh, etc. So that too played a big, big role into the progression of her disease.
Yeah, like I know with dementia, it can be very difficult in how you eat every single day, especially with having a diagnosis. It can bring you down so hard that really you just never have, you really don't want to eat because how much anxiety it brings you. From experience with having anxiety and depression at the same time, it really causes, for me personally, causes me not to eat as much because how much anxiety causes, and oftentimes I stress eat. A lot of times stressy as well. And with me growing up, my weight has always been down, up, like you said. Like with same serious as well. With me being, I'm always eating, but it's always going down and going up. That whole process. And it's like with having turned myself into nutrition in the last 2 months of working with a company that is kind of all about food and donating food, and with my sister, with her whole platform that she does, it really, with having those people around you every single day, it really, pushes yourself to eat much better foods. It's, of course, most of the time, like a couple months ago, I eat junk food. Like that was like, I don't know why I did, but I always was craving junk food. I don't know why, because of the sugar. I have no idea. I can't answer that question. I have no idea. But it really does play a major factor of having people tell you, okay, like you need to eat good. Like this, you're gonna have disease, which led me to have these health problems I'm having, for example, with me eating all junk foods. But before we head off, I wanted to ask you, like, you're the author of the cookbook, What to Eat Where You Don't Feel Like Cooking, where you share simple dairy-free and sugar-free recipes to maximize one's health despite being busy. Like, what are some of the recipes you share in your cookbook?
It's honestly, the recipes are very, very simple ingredient that everybody has in their fridge, in their cabinet. There's nothing complicated. I'm a mom of two, and my kids are young. And I can tell you that I don't have time to cook. And most of the time, I don't feel like doing it either. And this is why I put out this book, because you mentioned it. The tendency is when you don't feel like cooking or eating, you turn into junk food.
Yeah.
Right. So that cookbook is there to really give you simple ideas. The recipes are under 30 minutes from start to finish. And they use simple ingredients. Like they use apple, they use carrot. There's no added sugar. The sugar that I use in the recipes is stevia, which doesn't impact the blood sugar level in your body. And yeah, so it's very simple. I use it myself all the time. I have it on my counter. And sometimes I have no idea what to do, what to cook. And I say, oh, and I look into my book. My number one client is me because I use my book all the time.
I totally get that. Like, what are some of your favorite things you like to cook in the book? Like, what are some of your recommendations that you like to do in case people are kind of interested?
I love banana bread because I buy a lot of bananas and I always have some bananas left over. So I love the banana bread. And I also love, one thing is the pancake bake.
Ooh.
So that's a breakfast one, and you can add all kinds of things in there, but it's literally pancake dough, but you put it in a pan and you put it in the oven. And so you cut it, so you eat a square of pancake and it's delicious, very easy. And also I love the jerk chicken recipe in there. And it's funny because sometimes I don't remember what's in my book. So I open my book and say, oh, let me do that.
Like, act like you're reading it for the first time. Be like,
Yes.
oh, okay.
And I created all the recipes, but it's just that after creating so many recipes, I don't remember all of them, right?
Yeah.
So I look in the book and I'm so surprised, like, oh, wow. I have energy balls in there that are really good, very easy to do, to make.
Oh, I need to check out this book. This is right up my alley. Like when you said the pancake one and the banana, I'm like, okay, I need to buy this. And I'm a person that loves bananas as well. And I have a banana literally every morning with breakfast. So I'm just like, okay, I need to get this
You'll
one.
love that. You'll love that.
But thank you so much, Vicky, for coming on. I really learned more from you than what I learned in the last 17 years of 11 terms of nutrition hormones. I swear. But thank you so much, everyone, for listening. I really enjoyed filming this episode, and I probably would need to do a part 2 on this one, maybe,
Yes,
depending
anytime.
on because I might have more questions for you in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for listening. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of your day, and thank you so much, Vicky, for coming on.
Thank you.